Hello guys, welcome to another backtesting video. Today I'll be backtesting the data on Monday on 18th of March 2024. It was a Monday trade, and if I quickly show you the higher time frame, going to the next week, my bias was bearish according to how this weekly candle closed. The previous week candle was very bearish, so going to the next week I was looking for sales, especially on Mondays and Tuesdays, due to how it works. And you can also argue that there was a fair value gap to the upside, but until and unless the price shows me that it wants to reject this point and then go and fill up that fair value gap, until then I don't consider that. So that was what I was looking. And yeah, on Monday I was looking for sells. So let me quickly show you the DXY bias. On DXY, the opposite will be true, right? On DXY I was looking for buys according to how that candle closed, but also that there is a daily fair value gap right here. So until and unless it shows me that it wants to go and fill up this fair value gap, I will not consider that. And yeah, the market is either going from a supply to a demand or demand to a supply, right? So right now the market is going from this demand to this supply on the daily time frame. So it is also a ranging, you can argue ranging market from this demand to this supply. So obviously that was also one of my confluences. And yeah, now going to the lower time frames, this is when I start going to the lower time frames to look for any change of characters on the 4-hourly. So this was the last low that caused this high on the 4-hourly. So until unless body close below this happens with huge volume, I will not consider a change of character, right? So that didn't happen. So on the 4-hourly there was nothing to mark because there was no change of character. And yeah, on the hourly, that is when I go to the hourly. And on the hourly time frame there was a change of, obviously the character changed happened here, the character change here. And if I show you the latest, then this was the lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This was the last high that caused this low. So this was the supply zone. If I were to trade something, I would look according to the Asian range. I will decide my zone. So this would be my supply zone, which I've already marked here, I guess. Yep, I did. And first of all I will wait for my Asian range to close. So the Asian range closed something like this. So obviously this supply zone is valid. This supply zone here is valid because of, you can argue this close right here, this break of structure. It is not one of the cleanest, but yeah. Or you can also argue this break of structure right here. So yep, if I am looking for sells, I will look for something like this: previous structure, liquidity sweep, Asian high liquidity sweep, and then continue heading towards the downside. So I would look for something like that. Yeah, I remember I was looking for something like that. And if I show you quickly the DXY bias, DXY analysis, so I go to the H4 on the DXY, and if I'm looking for buys on Tuesday, I will look for demand zone. On the H4, the demand zone, sorry, on DXY, the H4 changed character to the upside, whereas on GU it didn't, but on DXY it changed character to the upside. So market was clearly bullish and very huge momentum. And if I'm looking for buys, I will look for buys from some sort of zone right around here, right? It doesn't matter, DXY doesn't matter that much. We only come here to look for what it's doing at the time we are trading GU. The only thing that matters is it doing the opposite or not, right? And there was a very crucial information on DXY. The previous week high was swept so early on. The previous week high and the previous day high was swept so early on Monday, whereas on GU the previous week low was not swept, as I will show you. The previous day low and the previous week low was not swept. Both were on the same place, as you can see. And yeah, that is a very crucial information. That's called SMT, smart money technique. So with the bias being bullish on DXY, it swept the previous week high, right? So if the bias is bullish on DXY, it will be bearish on GBP USD, right? And that is when I have drawn this M30 supply. This trade, literally my intuition or my experience, you can say, it was telling me it was a high probability trade, and my bias was so clear. And yeah, everything was looking so clean in this trade. And that is when I waited for my supply zone to get mitigated. The previous structural liquidity got swept, the Asian high liquidity got swept, That is when I go to the lower time frames like M15. The M15 gave a rejection, beautiful rejection, but I didn't enter there because there was no signs. Maybe I would have entered somewhere around here, I don't know, right? And it would be totally fine if I entered there, and yeah, it would be, anyways, it would be a winning trade. So yeah, it was a winning trade on Tuesday, played out to the T. And one more thing I've learned here, right? Always give your stop loss room to breathe. And yeah, the market going back to retest the zone or give the inducement, anyways, if you're wrong, it will continue upside, right? No problem. But the market always has a chance to go back again to your entry and then go back, something like this. So don't be afraid. If you are giving your stop loss room to breathe, you should not be afraid of the trade. Don't hesitate to take the trade. And yeah, I have also back tested this trade, as you can see, so I can come back to this trade anytime. And I have also written a call out here if there is SMT between weekly, daily highs and lows, and at the start of the week, that's a very good indication for the trade. Like in this one, DXY swept the PWH, PDH, and GU didn't. So that's SMT. So we took advantage of that information in our favor and caught this beautiful move. And also, if you have enough breathing room for a stop loss, then you are good to hold the trade because it's part of the move. Yep. So this was the winning trade breakdown of Monday. So also on Monday there was no news. If I show you the news quickly, Monday there was no news, Tuesday there is no news, and Wednesday, Thursday and Friday are very tricky to trade. As you can see, whole day there is news. And whenever there is London and New York both news, that is the day which we don't want to be in the markets, as we know. Yeah, it is what it is, and played out to our favor.